Hello everybody, we're coming here live from PAX Prime, live from the PAX Prime floor. I'm here with Stephen Reid, the community manager for Bioware, but I won't say that, I'll let him say it himself. If you can for those who may not know who you are.
Sure.
You let them know who you are and what your role is.
Sure, yeah. I'm senior community manager for Star Wars The Old Republic. I just deal with Star Wars The Old Republic. It's a big enough product to keep me busy, and a very large team as well, so yeah.
Okay, awesome. We hear back there that you were doing some commentary for, I believe it's Huttsball and the War Zone. If you can let us know, have you seen anything, any strange things as far as the different players, like anything as far as...
any kind of crazy plays, wacky stuff. Huttsball's really exciting for that kind of stuff because there's some really interesting kind of tactics you can do. One thing that's really cool to see, like for example, if you're a Jedi or a Sith warrior with Force Leap or a Force Charge, as you're coming down the final ramp into the end zone, you can actually select someone who's in the end zone, which is quite frequently a lot of people, because as they respawn, they come through the end zone to get out to the major part of it. So if you select them and you have the ball, you can Force Leap your way into the end zone and win, which is always nice. There's some interesting stuff you can do with cover classes as well. When they're in cover, they're currently immune to ballistic effects, which means they can't be force pulled, they can't be force pushed, which can make a big difference when you're playing. Because if you are able to do force pull or force push, then, for example, there's a lot of hazards in the arena. There's acid pits, and there's of course the fire traps, which everybody has problems with. You can pull, push, root people in those, and kill them that way. So there's a lot of kind of fun stuff you can do. It's a different kind of experience, obviously, than the all-around war zone, which is a bit more about tactical control and making sure you defend objectives, whereas Huttsball is much more about immediate action, I guess, and trying to work as a team closely together to get that ball over the line.
Okay. Here at the at PAX Prime, we obviously know that you guys are running the Flashpoint as well as Huttsball, but is there anything else you're going to be revealing or sharing with us here?
You'll have to come to the panel tomorrow and find out.
Okay.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about a few things in the panel. Yeah, we've been showing, we showed the Eternity Vault quite a bit at the Gamescom last week. We'll be showing it again at the panel tomorrow. So yeah, we have that, and there's a few other things we'll be talking about tomorrow as well.
All right. Back to your role as community manager, how has things evolved for the Star Wars community as time has passed so far?
I've only been in the job about, I guess it's coming on a year. No, 9-10 months. Anyway, so it's evolved quite a bit for me even in that time. We've had a really big influx of community members. Through testing, people interested in testing. Obviously, pre-ordering the game. A lot of people came in. As we get closer and closer to launch, a lot of people who are excited about the game and want to hear about it. So we're trying to deal with that influx as best we can and try and make the community as welcoming a place as we can. It's a very very large community. It's pretty vocal. People are very excited about the game, and when people get excited, they tend to get vocal about things, which is fair, and it's fair enough. All we sort of ask is civil behavior, respect the other people that are in the community with you, and understand that they may have different views to you. It doesn't mean that necessarily that's wrong or right. So we try our best to deal with that. And then there's also the wider community, which is beyond the kind of core that are on the forums. So, through things like Twitter and Facebook and that sort of thing, we're trying to reach out to those guys as well. The people who wouldn't necessarily want to, post on the forums or necessarily, get right in there. But, we want to be inclusive to them as well. So we're looking at ways to do that too, trying to reach out with different initiatives to, get people excited about the game.
Awesome. In light of that, right in the same vein, what other plans currently as far as post-release for the community? Is there any plans to evolve that to, I guess, cater to the fact that the game has been released, or?
Well, we're kind of working that stuff out right now, trying to figure out what that means to us. Obviously, we're a subscription model-based game. One of the key things for us is going to be that, to be part of the inner community, as it were. To be someone who's going to be on the forums and things like that, you will be required to be a subscriber to the game, which is a pretty standard issue for most MMOs. So that makes a big difference. It's going to change, some things there. Nothing too radical, we're not talking about, completely changing the way that the average forum is run. So yeah, we're still kind of working on that stuff, and there's going to be a lot of emphasis and a lot of time spent working on ensuring that we're making the best service we possibly can. So, you know, that's about things like, you know, monitoring server uptime and making sure people are aware of when the game is up and down, and, you know, when patches are happening, and you know, communicating that as best we can. So we're thinking about different ways to do that, and, you know, hopefully we'll have some good stuff.
Awesome. Well, in wrapping up, one more question for you. Although I may know what the conductor hat represents, for the fans out there that are not familiar with that, can you just give the backstory to what the conductor hat is all about?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a elaborate story, I suppose, now. So originally, the discussion that we had on the forums was, it was about release date, and actually a release date announcement was what we were talking about. Excuse me, I'm sucking on a throat lozenge. And anyway, we were talking about release date, and I think I said something to the effect of, a release date is such a big deal that, like a train, you'll hear it coming before it actually arrives. The point being that we wouldn't just throw a release date out during a Friday update without any kind of notice about it. You know, you're probably going to hear about it before it happens. So then the train thing kind of evolved into, you know, talking about a conductor's hat, you know, because people would talk about, oh, I hear the train coming, and I'm like, I'm afraid I'm the only one who knows when the train is coming, so whatever you think you hear, you don't necessarily hear. So then the conductor's hat thing, someone, I think it was on Twitter, reached out to me and said, hey, I'll send you a conductor's hat, as long as you promise to wear it. So I said, sure. He sent me it, and then when we announced pre-order during San Diego Comic-Con, you know, I wore the hat, because a pre-order is obviously a very big step on the road towards release. Unfortunately, the hat doesn't fit me very well. I think it's kind of a child's hat, so I don't really wear it very often because it doesn't really fit that great.
All right. Well, Steven, we really appreciate your time. I will say, when you guys announced the pre-order, I was probably the first guy that picked up the collector's edition. I'm so grateful for that. So once again, thank you so much for your time. We are greatly anticipating the game, and awesome job.
No problem, man. Thank you.
Thank you.